about the writer's strike is already going on. Let's talk about the actors union, SAG-AFTRA, going on strike after negotiations fell through. There's a lot of statements coming out about this. We're going to talk about Bob Iger's take on this predominantly, but right now there's one statement in this Deadline article that's been making the rounds on Twitter and social media. Screen Rant posted an infographic. Mary, do you want to read them what it said in this article? Because it is a bit shocking, but also makes perfect sense.
It said, the end game is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses.
Yeah.
They just, it's a business. What do you expect? A business is going to business.
Look, the thing is, people forget that strikes are not guarantees.
Yep.
The point of a strike is to cause pain to the manufacturer or the business owner, so that way he gives into your demands. If you're in a position where you cannot cause enough pain to a business, you're gonna lose.
Yep.
So the idea that the union was guaranteed to win and et cetera, that is not how strikes go. There is plenty of history of the people that strike losing their jobs because they decided to strike. There's a lot of the idea that a lot of people have nowadays is you join a union and then you get to boss the boss around. That's really the vibe. People
That's what they want.
Yeah,
Well,
a lot of people are supporting the writer's strike and the actor's strike just on the basis that it's a strike and that it's unionized in any way, not based on whether their expectations or demands are reasonable.
Yeah, it's all political, and this falls into, I think, the category of people that are kind of doing activism because they think they're supposed to, as opposed to having principled objections or principled understanding of the situation at hand. I don't know much about the people that are striking, other than they're writers in LA. I mean,
and actors now it's the actors
and actors
and it's also,
how bad am I supposed to feel for you?
The consequences are going to hit people who work on crews, on sets,
of course.
not people who are in SAG-AFTRA the most, and they supposedly have a fund.
Yeah, the below the line people are going to be supposedly taken care of, but that will run out eventually.
That will run out.
If you think
and also,
you can,
the big name actors are not going to be opening their wallets to help them because they don't care. They're anti-fragile. They can do whatever they want. And this is also going to hurt most of the less established actors in the union the worst.
Yep.
The big names like Fran Drescher doesn't care.
No, and
whether the union
I mean, she
what they want.
She cares because it's her job to care, and she'll try to negotiate the best deal she can because it's literally her job.
But I mean, ultimately, she's like partying in Paris with Kim Kardashian. Like
they explained apparently she's an ambassador for the brand that was throwing that event, so she had to be there, and they announced beforehand that she would be out of town for that, and she was on video conference meetings during the strike that whole time. So like they're gonna do what they're gonna do, but the thing is here. It's simple. The actors and the writers have done nothing to ingratiate themselves to the public, who are just not going. Maybe 20 years ago, it would have been like, yeah, stick it to the man. The corporations suck. And I have no love lost for some Fortune. The corporations are just as bad putting out all the garbage that we're seeing today. But between the political activism from actors, the crappy writing and political activism from writers, the average person who doesn't know what's going on in the industry is going to be like, I don't care. I hope you get what's coming to you. I'm not trying to be
Russia
rude.
versus Ukraine. I don't like the studios and I don't like the actors, and they're talking about like these fat cat executives at the studios don't care about these actors getting paid fairly, but the actors are already overpaid and overly entitled.
I don't like any of the shit you produce.
And,
I don't like the I don't like the studios. I don't like the actors. I don't like the writers.
So you can all go to hell for all I care.
Screw off. I don't care.
They're talking about these corporations are like they're posting record profits, and like these companies are losing.
I don't give a shit. Like if I hear
they're not. There's like, first of all, we just came out of care. We just came out of COVID where they lost insane amounts of money trying to pivot to new business models. They're cutting projects left and right. The idea that they're posting record profits is simply not true. And if it is, it's not true based on one department alone, because these are diversified businesses and portfolios. Warner Brothers, Universal, Disney, they don't just make money on your crappy movies and television. They make money at theme parks, with merchandise, with toys. It's not all because of you. If anything, right now, Netflix, Hulu, Disney, all of these streaming services, you know what they need to do? All these actors, like, we're striking forever. Like, okay, who's buying up Seinfeld?
Fired.
Quick? Buy Seinfeld, buy The Office, and live forever on these shows. You don't need them forever anymore. Like, there was a time when there was no streaming where, yes, the new season is coming up and you need your shows to put on television. Now, you know what they say? They go, you, and you. Make a bunch of reality TV shows. You, and you. License out as much product as possible and get as much incoming streaming material as possible. And we will weather this storm until we literally choke out these people and they're so broke they have to come crawling back to us. Does that give me warm fuzzies inside? No, it doesn't, but I have a hard time really caring, especially since you said one of the big points here.
The sticking point here is that they haven't reached negotiations on AI.
And
actors getting compensated for their likenesses being used in AI.
And remember, directors signed their new agreement two weeks ago. Directors already renegotiated their upcoming deal. Let's listen to what Bob Iger has to say about it. Bob Iger, who just signed his new $27 million contract. Here's what Bob Iger had to say about it.
Content. We're in the midst of a writer's strike, and very likely it would seem to have a actor's strike. How is that going to impact things, and what are your expectations there?
Well, I think it's very disturbing to me. We've talked about disruptive forces on this business and all the challenges that we're facing and the recovery from COVID, which is ongoing. It's not completely back. This is the worst time in the world to add to that disruption. I understand any labor organization's desire to work on the behalf of its members to get the most compensation, to be compensated fairly based on the value that they deliver. We managed as an industry to negotiate a very good deal with the Directors Guild that reflects the value that the directors contribute to this great business. We wanted to do the same thing with the writers, and we'd like to do the same thing with the actors. There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic. And they are adding to a set of challenges that this business is already facing that is, quite frankly, very disruptive.
So they're not being realistic?
No, they're not.
Why not?
I can't answer that question. I respect their right and their desire to get as much as they possibly can in compensation for their people. I completely respect that. I've been around long enough to understand that dynamic and to appreciate it. But you also have to be realistic about it, the business environment and what this business can deliver. It is and has been a great business for all of these people, and it will continue to be, even through disruptive times. But, being realistic is imperative.
What do you do in the interim then? Does AI start to write a lot of scripts?
It will have a very, very damaging effect on the whole business, and unfortunately,
the strike will.
There's huge collateral damage in the industry to people who are, who are support services. I could go on and on. It will affect the economy of, different regions even because of just the sheer size of the
They
business.
really wanted a quote from him about AI here.
I know.
I wanted to read this one quote from a well-established actress who decided to go unnamed in this article. She said about AI, "This is a power grab, pure and simple. We see what's coming. They can't pretend we won't be used digitally or become the source of new, cheap, AI-created content for the studios." And that's totally true, but I mean, first of all, that has to do with the fact that, non-AI generated content has been devalued so heavily and no one likes it and it costs too much to make.
When you spend, I was reading somewhere that they said that Katie Sackhoff said that the catering budget on The Mandalorian was higher than the entire budget of Battlestar. the money, the money gets wasted, and there is a fair point here. Like, we're talking about when you mentioned the richest of the rich, it's not every actor that works in Hollywood that's a member of SAG is a rich actor. There's plenty of them that are living paycheck to paycheck that aren't gonna make.
I don't know who mentioned the richest of the rich.
We were talking about, look, rich actors, rich writers, rich people. There's also plenty of actors that are not wealthy that are going to struggle through this.
But my point wasn't about. My point was, or that I wanted to make was, like, I don't care how much money the studios are making.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like the idea that, oh, they're making X amount of dollars,
so they need their they need to pay their fair share.
Yeah, I don't
greed.
care.
They use the word greed.
I don't give a shit. They can like the idea that you're entitled to an amount of money from the studios. No, you're not entitled to anything. Yep. You've got a deal worked out with the studios. The point is, your union is supposed to make a deal with you make a deal with the studio that's satisfactory to you.
Yeah.
It's also captioned like Bob Iger, who makes $27 million a year, by the way.
That's just because of the garbage commies in media. That's literally what it is. The point of that stuff is to set people off and upset them about the amount of money that, you know, a CEO makes. But someone that is, if writing shows and stuff like that is anything like writing songs in Hollywood, which I imagined it is, you get 4 or 5 people in a room and you bang out scripts, you bang out ideas. You're one of 5 people that worked on 5 episodes of that 15 episode episodic thing. How much did how much input did you do compared to the other 4 people that were in the room, and is how it tends to go. So this idea that people have some kind of entitlement to what the studio produces because they worked on it, it's really, really not something that I'm in any way sympathetic to.
Yep.
I wanted to list some of the projects that are going to be impacted by the actors' strike. The 2nd season of House of the Dragon. And by the way, this whole list is just shit you don't care about.
A lot of people like House. A lot of people.
No,
like
I know
House
a lot
of
of people like it.
Yeah.
I don't personally care. Day of the Jackal, Industry, Bad Sisters, Doctor Who, Andor, Alien, The White Lotus, Emily in Paris. This is all just shit.
The White Lotus is popular.
Movies, Paddington in Peru, amazing.
With Dylan Mulvaney.
Amateur, Gladiator 2.
Is it actually with Dylan Mulvaney? Oh.
The Radleys, Mortal Kombat 2.
I care about that.
I mean, it's going to be a sequel in 2023 or 4, so who cares? Heads of State, Wicked, Beetlejuice 2, and Speak No Evil. Yeah. And I just don't... I'm not like on the edge of my seat to see any of this stuff. Nope. If the actors strike, you know, makes these movies get shelved or trashed entirely, I'm going to be still, you know, able to sleep at night.
And the residuals and the royalties may be low, but like I said, you've done nothing to get the public on your side because you're annoying activists. Your writing in the industry has been subpar at best for the last 10 years. There's not much you can say to me that puts me sympathetic and in your corner.
Are actors allowed to promote their projects during a strike at all?
Nope.
So if the strike starts today, which they did the vote this morning, does that mean that promotion for like Barbie, for instance,
you're gonna have
to discontinue?
That would depend. Like when it was just the writers' strike, it would have affected the writers. For the actors, I don't know. We'll have to see. They might have gotten it out just in time. There was a big one there from Stephen Harris that is not with a message. There's no message there.
Okay.
But thank you, Stephen.
Thank you for the crisis party.
But yeah,
yes.
yes. Look, the other sad fact of this is, guys, we are in an age now where the Zoomers and beyond, they're watching Yes, Yes, Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Ice cream. Yes, yes, yes. They don't.
Margot Robbie is going to have to become a TikTok live streamer.
Like Margot Robbie's just going to be like, yes, yes, yes. Wow. Yes, yes, yes. Like you don't explicitly need this anymore. And eventually what you're going to do is you're going to bully adults into watching that. Next week, Phil's going to have to be like watching, wow, yes, yes, yes. Ice cream. Yes. Hot dog. Yes, yes, yes. Like they don't need you anymore. And entertainment as a whole has been democratized. You will be able to watch all the same streamers that you love on Twitch or Kick or whatever platform it is, and the bargaining power is going to remain with the studios for the time being. Now, one thing that could be said, like, look, if a Tom Cruise comes to you and says, I want to promote Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning 2, what do we need to do to make this strike go away? There may be more on the table there, but I'm just sick of the blatant, bland, it's because of greed issue when we see all the time that shows get left up for, like, they admitted when they were making all these last however many seasons of these shows on the CW that none of them made any money ever. They never profited. They lost money on it all the time.
Yeah.
What are they supposed to do with this? They're canceling projects left and right.
If corporate greed were a thing, would they not make shows and movies that people actually want to watch?
Yeah, you would think that if
corporate greed were such a factor here, there would be more.
Your ESG score won't keep you warm at night,
right?
Your ESG score won't keep you warm at night. So I guess maybe you should have promoted yourself based on talent rather than based on. And I know that this is coming off callous, but these people are the same ones that lecture you, the same ones that tell you that if you don't like their movie, you're a sexist, misogynist, istophobe. I just miss me with it. Miss me with it. I don't care. I'm sorry. And we'll still review things if we have to go through and review old things with lots of those actors that are still getting their residuals because they made a mark on society. I guess they'll just have to deal with it, actors.
Actors are going to be stuck in their homes again, just like COVID.
Oh no! Well,
it's going to make Imagine covers.
I mean, but that's what that statement was, right? That they're literally just going to wait them out, and they own enough IP. They own enough of this stuff to keep going.
One from Mr. X. He said, Did you ever have a dream that you want them to do you so much you could do anything? Credit Your Wig.
That's yes, it's what it yeah. Look, guys, I know we're making fun of her, but I'm not much different than her. I'm not far off from that. So, I sympathize with her on that. But if she wants to make fun of me, she can. But,
that's us when they ask us how Pop Culture Crisis is a feminist show.
She doesn't know I exist, so it's fine. We're good. Do you think that there's any way that this gets solved anytime soon? Another thing that's big here is there are now two there's now the actors and the writers striking, and the directors are over here like, we'll work.
Yeah,
we're good. What made it so that the directors were willing to strike? And I asked this to Dallas Sanye. I said, why did the directors come to a deal so quickly and the writers weren't able to do that? He said, reasonable demands. You're never going to get these studios to bend on AI. There's too much money to be made. There's too much control to be had. An AI isn't going to talk back to you and strike. How about that? Well, the AI isn't going to tell you that it wants fair compensation.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that they're going to come to the negotiations that they want on AI. I think this is actually just going to solve the problem in Hollywood that we've been wanting to solve, just in an unexpected way, which is the dilution of constant content getting churned out that is useless and no one likes. And they're going to have to start paring down and making products that people actually want to see.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, Crisis Party. Yes, yes, yes. I don't know, man. On one, it does feel like 20 years ago you'd have been like, yeah, stick it to the corporations, whatever. But nowadays it just feels like there's no chance of that
and
anymore.
In that same interview, Bob Iger admitted that the emphasis on quantity over quality with their Marvel productions has devalued the franchise and taken the focus away
You don't say.
from the audiences. They're less interested because you're not making quality content.
Colleen in the chat here says, or I'm sorry, in the Twitter space says, look at the wealthy guy trying to justify paying slave wages to his workers. Hyperbole much?
Yeah.
I guess, actually, I don't know. There's a $20 one right there. There's one from Dave Gazzulli.
He said, until Hollywood breaks away from the whole prequel, sequel, reboot, retelling dynamic, I will cry no tears for the poor striking actors. Phil, can I get a hell yeah or a yes, yes, yes?
No, no, no. Yes, yes, yes. I don't get why people are feel sorry for the screenwriters. They've been writing garbage. Everyone knows they've been writing garbage for ages and ages and ages. People complained about the quality of the stuff coming out of Hollywood and stuff for ages and ages and ages, and now it's like they're seeing. I checked out of stuff that that was episodic TV and stuff. I think it was when Shameless had an episode where Antifa were the good guys.
Yeah.
Like, and this was after 2020, after like there were like Antifa was burning down buildings and, you know, throwing Molotov cocktails at people and stuff. So after that, I was just like, all right, this whole industry is lost.
Yeah.
Watching any of the garbage that they put out is totally antithetical to any of my personal goals, which are to have as much pushback against that type of mentality as possible. I don't get why people are upset. Let it fall apart. Let them fire them. They need to have market competition, and they don't have it. So, they're probably getting the results of market competition in the form of the lost wages and lost revenue, because people don't watch that stuff anymore.
And in the end of the day, the people are just going to go and rewatch. These studios own tons of content. They own tons of IP. They can always license out more content. Like right now, is anybody canceling Netflix because no new show comes up? Like, it'll take a while before that happens, right? Like, the joke was always like, people turn on Netflix, they scroll for 45 minutes, and they just watch a comedy special. Like, they can keep doing that, and they're gonna be able to keep doing that, and they're gonna be able to wait it out a hell of a lot longer than the writers or the actors will. So, thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media, and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.